walk through our doors every single month, and when we tell them that this is here, can you imagine? They're going to want to be able to get their hands on all of this material. If you have been talking too much to look at the cases, there are some examples of the materials, and so you should take a look. I want to recognize Karen Nickerson, who's been working to make sure that this happens. Karen is the acting curator of the theater division, and Sarah Zabel is the manager of the Rodgers and Hammerstein division of recorded sound. So you've got two people who are going to be working on it, as well as others who work for them, so you can well imagine. I asked Sarah and Karen if they could give me just a few examples of things that they saw that they thought were fun, and so I'm just going to give you a few. There's a VHS recording of Judy Garland's wedding to fifth husband Mickey Deans, and that's in March 15th of 1969. There's a VHS recording of Judy Garland at Carnegie Hall home movie footage in 1961. And there's
7 minutes. 7 minutes.
7 minutes. VHS and cassette recordings of Judy's appearance on a number of television shows, including Soupy Sales, Perry Como, Gypsy Rose Lee, Tonight Show, Today Show, Sammy Davis Jr. Show. I mean, just imagine. Isn't this great? I feel like somebody gave me a present. Actually, you have. So I'd like to thank Russell Klein. Raise your hand for those of you who don't know. There's Russell. Russell has enabled this collection to come here, and Scott Gorenstein, where's Scott? He's right back here. So his careful attention is placed in the archive, and it's so wonderful to meet both of you, and we're going to have a long, long relationship. So I'd like to turn to Scott. I'd like to ask you to come and speak a little bit more about what we've got. We have.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I wrote a speech, but it's don't forget it. Thank you all so much for coming. You know, every day through this process, Russell and I would just constantly ask ourselves one question. You know, what would Scott want to do? You know, is this what Scott would do? Because we trusted him implicitly because he ran his career perfectly. He put out the work in such a magnificent way. His loss, it's just, you know, Liza's career, as far as I'm concerned, you know, took a hit when Scott passed away because he was just such an incredible channel to get this work into the marketplace. So when Scott passed away, and I remember saying to Russell at the memorial service, don't touch anything, you know, because I didn't know what there was, and I didn't know what the best place for it, and it kind of took me a couple months, and all of a sudden I remembered the library that Scott had taken me here one day with Eric. I couldn't remember what we watched, but he was doing some research, and I remembered all the archives, and I thought, of course, this is where everything should be, and it should be available for everyone. And I called Russell. I said, what do you think about the library? He said, great idea. I was like, okay, I'll call the library, and I'm sure they'll just send someone over, they'll pick it up. And Russell's like, well, what do they want? And I'm like, well, I'm sure they just want pictures. And no, I don't think you understand, he would say. And I'm like, no, Russell, believe me, I collect Judy and Liza too. It's just, you know, put it in a box, it'll be fine. No, I don't have a box. It's an entire apartment. I'm like, all right, maybe. I said, maybe I'll come down. And I finally, months and months later, you know, got my butt down to Asbury, and I walk in, and I'm looking through room after room, and I looked at Russell, and I said, why did you tell me to get down here months ago? And it took. From then on, it took us, you know, months, 2 or 3 months to go through every single thing, because Scott, I think that his love for Judy and Liza was just so great that he just didn't almost know where to stop. So he just took and took and took, and I think it overwhelmed him, and it overwhelmed the apartment, and overwhelmed the closet, and overwhelmed the boxes. It took us so many months just to go through, and we would literally just go through stuff and say, well, this is trash, this is library, this is trash, this is library. And we would find, Judy Garland fan publications from 1955, Birmingham, next to Scott's Christmas card list from 1981, going, these two belong together. But thank you to Karen and thank you to Jackie for welcoming the collection. We're trusting you with our love, who spent his life, and I think he made the right decisions. I think he followed his heart, and I think he would do it all over again in a second. And I hope that people years and years from now come here to learn about the art, because that's the only thing he cared about. It's the only thing that we ever care about. And once in a while, Scott and I, after Liza was done a song, we would just look at each other. We go, "We're right. We're right. She's the best." And we were so lucky, and I was so lucky to share that with him. And I think we're very lucky that we found you. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
I did not prepare anything, but I just wanted to thank Scott, because he was the one that gave us direction. We had a multitude of stuff that I had nowhere to begin. And it was an experience, and all I have to say is that thank you for the library for being gracious enough to take everything that we had to offer, because the important thing, as far as I knew, because of the way I knew Scott, was that this stuff should live on, and it should be seen by people, and it should continue where Scott couldn't. So I'm very glad of that, and I really thank everybody for coming, to keep Scott's memory alive and the legacy going and all that. So that's it.
Once these materials are here and processed, all of you will be able to just come and say, I want to see it all. I don't think you can see it all after the description we just got of rooms and rooms of material, but you'll have a great time, and so will others, but you'll all be special because you were here tonight. I invite you now to eat, drink, be merry. I'd like to meet the ones I haven't met, so let's have a good time. Thank you.